Hi, welcome back if you're returning. Today is part one of my Victorian Halloween series and my very first collaboration, and it's with Tarnished Treasures. This channel is lovely. There's yard sale hauls, cooking, gardening, decorating, and she's the most amazing artist. So check her out. She does some great stuff and I think you're really going to enjoy it. Let's get started. So Dudley and I are in the garden and we're looking for sticks. As you can see, he's already found a couple. I'm looking for some gnarly, raggedy old sticks for a particular craft to plant my crows on, and I think I've got them here. So off we go, back to start the craft. This year I've decided, in keeping with the house and the decor that I've already done, I'm going to try a vintage Victorian Halloween. Now most of the decor that I have is vintage inspired, but it's not quite Victorian. So I'm going more of a gothic look. I'm painting things black. I'm using my dark elements. I'm using candlesticks and picture frames. So these were just some little pictures that I printed off the graphics fairy. That's actually the little arsenic poison is going on the front of this little pot that I've just painted black. That's the little, it's almost like a milk tin that I picked up in a recent haul. Those are the 4 Nassetti prints. I really like, I really love those, and I think they're perfect. Whereas they're not traditionally Halloween, but they do have that spooky look to them. So all I'm going to be doing is putting them in these thrifted brass picture frames and various sizes, obviously, and we're just going to cut them out and then paste them on or stick them on to the backing. I was going to add some velvet into the backing of these little picture frames, but it just made them too bulky, so I decided just to keep them with the black, and I thought it was a nice contrast with the black and white pictures that we printed off. As you can see, this is such a simple craft. It's very effective as well. You know, it's especially in keeping with your theme. You can put anything. Pumpkins, it could be vintage postcards, you know, anything that you wanted. Again, it doesn't have to be Halloween, it could be for any season, but I just thought that this was very in keeping with the Victorian feel and the gothic vibe that I was going for. All the paint was dry, I got the Mod Podge out and then just attached the arsenic poison sign to the front of the jug. So it's time to get the Halloween boxes out and see what we're going to be using. I've split my Halloween into 3 boxes for the moment. I have outdoor with one, I have vintage in another, and then pumpkins and sort of skeleton-y things in the other. I also have some crafts that I've kept from the kids when they were very little. I've got this great picture of me and my boys from many years ago, and this little castle was something we made probably 30 years ago with my daughters. I pull it out every year and use it. A lot of this was from last year. We had a Halloween party, so I'm not going to be using most of it this year, especially because we're going to be away, but I am kind of sticking to this gothic theme. I do have this really cool witch poster that I picked up in Lancashire when I was back there a few years ago from the actual witch trials. It's a reproduction of a sign that was posted, so that's kind of cool. But going through the boxes and seeing everything that I've got, I've got a lot of old vintage postcards that I've put in picture frames and had up over the years. And again, like I said, I've had various themes going on throughout the last few years. These are the vintage dolls that I picked up a couple of years ago and turned into freaky dolls for Halloween. Nobody likes these. Everybody's freaked out by them, but I think they're perfect for Halloween, and I'm sure going to be using them this year. I'm also doing one more quick craft. I picked up this Lazy Susan, this wooden Lazy Susan, a few weeks ago for 50 cents, and as soon as I saw it I knew what I wanted to do with it. Last year I'd made a man in the moon face that I'd seen on Pinterest, and I'd got a piece of canvas and I just did it by hand. It turned out great. I'm not going to be using it this year because I've used the picture frame that it was in, but I did want to turn the Lazy Susan into a moon face, and as I said, it worked out perfectly. What I did was I just printed off the picture. It was off one of these free print sites, and then I had to join it in a couple of places where it didn't quite fit the end. So what I did was I ripped up a piece of kitchen paper and stuck it on, and then went over it with the Mod Podge, and it's given a really cool effect. Now, I also picked up this urn a few weeks ago. I think this was $1. This was from a yard sale, and I'm going to be using it for one of my pumpkins, and I thought, perfect, let's just paint it black. So this is the cabinet before. As I had said, I have been moving things around, so I just put a few things in here to get ready, knowing that I was going to be changing it up for Halloween. So I cleared it all out, cleared the top off, and kind of gathered together all my items that I thought I could be using for my gothic vintage cabinet. So you can see I stuck to a theme, very Victorian, very gothic. I have my vintage books and my little taxidermied butterflies, and a couple of vintage pictures from the turn of the century. They were copies of Victorian Halloween cards, and of course there's the little Fornasetti pictures in the frames. One of the best things about this cabinet, especially when the doors are shut and the lights on inside, it seems to glow. So it really does lend itself to this type of curiosity cupboards, because you're drawn to it as you're walking past and you're looking in and seeing all the weird little things that are in there. So it is definitely in keeping with the style that I was looking for. And for the rest of the house, well, you're just going to have to tune in next week and see what I've done there.